This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. That gives an extra richness to the mix. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
And indeed to all our readers this morning.
Are you Scottish?
All our Scottish, Welsh and Irish...
they're back.
They're all gathered around waiting to hear me in Santa. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I genuinely thought it was coming home. That's what I thought, right?
He's the loneliest man in the world.
Never mind. It was a fabulous adventure.
Did you cry, Frank?
I didn't cry. You know what? My son cried, but I knew it said on the menu post-match shepherd's pie, and that for me just kept me above water. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I thought, that's wrong. I was gutted for a couple of minutes. Buzz cried. It's happened to me so many times. I mean, people keep going on about 96. My first example of it that sticks in my mind was like 1970 World Cup quarter-final. I remember losing that to Germany and going into the garden after on my own and just kicking a little plastic ball around solemnly. And the neighbour said, too late now. As if I'd done it earlier, that could have somehow saved the day. They were in Mexico, for goodness sake.
Lovely sensitive people.
Sorry,
Wasn't the neighbour implying that you were in training for the next tournament?
Well, Too Late Now suggested that I was somehow trying to contribute to this game that had just slipped away from us.
I see.
But you do get used to it. I say Buzz absolutely cried.
I think that's forgivable in a child.
Oh, yes, in a child. I
respect your stoicism of going, well, there's pie.
Yeah, I'll tell you something as well. It was not disappointing, the shepherd's pie.
Oh, that's
so
good.
was the pie laid on by the FA?
Well, on this occasion, in this tournament, and you might think me and Dave get tickets easily, but we've had to do a bit of scratching around. And in the previous game, for example, we were not in any sort of VIP. We went in the catch COVID areas.
Hang on, were you not? Because Tom Cruise and Kate Moss were on the guest list.
They were in the Royal Box. Well,
to be
fair, they're massive football fans, both of them. And also, I mean, for the Denmark game, Buzz spent a lot of the time standing on the back of the seat in front, because there are blokes at football who just stand up regardless of the seating, and they do that thing of slightly looking around, nobody, all stand up, those blokes. You know when you wish you'd got an elephant gone? And the morality could be parked for an hour. But anyway, so I had to stand Buzz on the back of the seat. Now, you don't want a shot of Kate Moss doing that with Tom Cruise, because he's going to feel humiliated. But it was... So for the final, we were in the VIP
What was
area.
the meal like? Was that's a strange... That must have been like the sort of Republican camp with Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump after the last election. Did it have that feel to it?
It had a feel of... I tell you what, I think that they'd gone... Well, interestingly, post the Germany game, it was sausages and the sauerkraut in the VIP area. Now, that suggested to me that was not an optimistic caterer.
No.
Because we were talking about Neil Diamond, who's been on our lips for much of this tournament because of his rival song.
Yeah.
And Dave, I didn't know that Neil Diamond was Jewish. Dave has a list of all the Jewish people in the world, celebrity-wise.
Yes.
And he's known as the Jewish Elvis, Neil Diamond, which I didn't know.
Oh, how lovely.
And the next day, I sent a thing about I didn't see Neil Diamond at the game and all that. And Dave texted back, well, I don't think he'd have liked the sausages and thing. I believe he's kosher. And I texted back, what about Crackling Rosie? Which is one of his tracks. And Dave never replied. So I was a bit Bit
Do you know
miffy.
what?
So I pulled him up about it
Oh,
at
you
the
did,
final.
yeah.
I said, I thought that was a good joke. And he come up with some trumped up excuse for not replying.
I pulled him up about it at the final when England played Italy. Your priority was why
just
didn't you
wanted-
give me sufficient love for that joke?
I'll tell you what, I'm a bloke. I don't like any lumps in the carpet. Do you know what I mean? I like everything nice and smooth and sorted, and then I can relax. It was okay. We sorted it out. We're all friends. There's a lot of love there.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
For those of you listening on the Decade channels, we just played Life on Mars by David Bowie, and it's so brilliant. You know, sometimes you just play a song and think, I've heard this song who knows how many 100,000 times, but there's a thing that got me through my teens a bit, and that is, oh man, look at those cavemen go. And whenever there was trouble went off in a nightclub in Birmingham, it used to make me feel a little bit superior that I was with David Bowie and they were the cavemen.
Well, It's the Freakiest Show got me through my parents.
Well, there you go. Perfect. Well, speaking of look at those cavemen go, I was witness to the bother at the game. You know, fans broke in to the game on let me tell you, I was
Silly Billy.
there is an avenue of celebrity that takes you into the VIP thing, which is constructed. And I was walking down there. I know. I was walking down there shoulder to shoulder with Mel C. when suddenly the fence started caving in to our right. And, oh man, look at those cavemen go. And these guys are trying to get people who hadn't got a ticket, presumably. And it was, I mean, I think me and Mel see ourselves as sort of down-to-earth celebrities, but we don't want the fence between us and them down to earth, literally. You know, you want a bit of... so it was...
Not when they're in that condition.
It was a little bit scary, and they were on a mission. But I thought, don't come into the VIP. You're aiming too high. You know, work your way up, break into the ground, and then make your way to. Don't aim at the top tier. But it was quite scary. They were furious, absolutely furious. They were. Yeah. So we got into the ground, and we looked down from the concourse, and we could see them still bursting in. It was like being Tsar Nicholas at the storming of the Winter Palace. It was. Oh God! If I'd been out there at that point, I'd have been genuine. It was really quite scary. Some very. I think
Mel
was it
C
always
would have
men?
protected you though.
Yeah, Mel C would have done some flying kicks.
Do you know? I think you're right, Al. She's someone you'd want on your side.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh,
Cruz. I mean, let's be honest. Cruz was knocking around as well.
Yeah.
Would you? He must have picked up some stuff. I would go Mel C every time, though.
Yes, definitely. Well, Mel C could have hit a sort of high C and maybe brought a section of floodlight down on them or something like that. But yeah, it was... I tell you why, it was a walk down memory lane for me. I remember football was like that every week. So, things have got better.
I mean, fair play. In the old days when football was like that every week, you weren't potentially being protected by a heritage pop star.
No, that is true. If someone had said to me, the next time you see football hooliganism, you'll be with a member of the biggest girl band in history. I mean,
how
imagine
nice
that.
Though, Frank.
And as you say, if you're going to pick one, maybe, I suppose it'd be one of the Mels if you were looking for protection.
Oh, 100.
Definitely.
I mean, I've got to say, though, Moss, she looks like she's got something in her. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of her.
Yeah, but we didn't get anywhere near the Royal Box.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Okay.
Didn't James Hewitt say that once?
Oh, my.
Testimony.
Good heavens, man.
Anyway, it was scary, but the shepherd's pie I found made up for all the negatives of the evening were rescued by the shepherd's pie.
Free meal, you're happy.
Free meal is always good, but shepherd's pie reminds me of them school dinners. And I was one of the people who loved school dinners, and
Me too.
shepherd's pie was it was the jewel in the crown at our school.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had this in from 815. On our worst ever phone-in. I
Okay.
think you'd ask for those, for
Texting.
example.
Don't call. Texting.
They called it phoning, but you're absolutely right, it is texting. Last week, Frank asked what their worst ever phone-in question, texting question had been. The one I remember most fondly was from perhaps 10 years ago. Why is life a grotesque pantomime? I still haven't heard a good answer.
No, well, they don't all. Some of them do fall on stony ground. Sometimes we do ones that never get an answer at all.
Okay.
And then
I
some of them
like
are.
to think people are just pondering it.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll still get some answers coming in.
If anyone
but,
does know the answer to why life is a grotesque pantomime, I'd love to know.
Someone went off and did like a philosophy degree, so they could send in a really good text. That'd be great.
And John Hopkins, Frank, has said, having listened to Frank... Eton Master, having listened to Frank's story about the storming of Wembley, everything now slots into place. Obviously, those ne'er-do-wells had heard about the never-ending supply of cottage pie on offer.
Shepherds, please.
In the VIP section. You can't keep a caveman from his mince and mash.
No, I mean, if that was their motivation, I would have some sympathy because that is the Pavlov dog thing. They shouldn't have dangled the shepherd's pies over the side of the wall. Hey, lads, look at these beauties. Do you think in Qatar in the World Cup, when it's... I mean, I know they've moved it to the winter, so theoretically they moved to the winter so it won't be hot. The average temperature, I believe, when it's being played is 30 degrees. So if you
Lovely.
imagine what it's going to be, say on Sunday in England, it looks like there's going to be a lot of 30 degrees. That's how it's going to be for the football. A shepherd's pie will feel... It just won't fit, will it?
No, it'd be wrong.
You know, and there's probably more shepherds there. I don't know if I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, what's he going? Is it going to be like salads and things? You don't
Yes,
want,
it
you don't-
will.
Oh, no. Oh,
Ice lollies, maybe.
no. I'm going to do the joke again. World in lotion. That's what it will be, that World Cup.
You can't serve that out at the hospitality.
No.
A Caesar salad and a twister. Who wants that?
No.
Oh, a twister.
Do you like a twister?
I don't mind one. Anyway, so once again, thank you to our Irish, Welsh, Scottish fans for coming back this week. You didn't want to listen to that stuff last week. And we did lose on a penalty shootout. I think we can generally accept now that Gareth Southgate, lovely bloke, but he's just bad luck. I mean, it's the evidence is there. But it was a good laugh while we had it. And got to talk to Mel C, Shepherd's Pie, saw some football.
I'm enjoying this review of your last one.
That's it.
Wow, I never thought I'd do. Got to talk to Mel C,
It's a
Shepherd's
good laugh.
Pie.
Yeah, it's that's what you want, I think, is that kind of summary.
And you
I
got
think.
to spend a lot of quality time with David, which is nice.
That was lovely. In fact, we were in a box, and it was me, Ian, and David with our cobs, with our lion cobs, which was
Yeah.
really.
I find that very wholesome. I love that.
That was special. In fact, so many great things in my life has been spoiled by England football team. Perfect moments, but you know, it's only football.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Bob Lyle has said to you, Frank, so you went to the final for Sporty and it ended up being scary.
Oh, that's good.
And then he said, which I like, I love Boy Lyle for this, reuse 90s Spice Girl jokes is his hashtag.
No, well, it was. I didn't actually go with Mel C. I don't want to start. We just happened to. We happened to be going down the same avenue of fame. I think we'd both admit that we're going down it the wrong way. Am I right?
Or the right way,
I say, am I right?
depending on how you look at it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you something. What was brilliant, though, is on the afternoon of the final, we did a gig. We did a live gig with the Lightning Seeds.
No. Where was that?
That's a very good question, because we got interviewed on this radio guy interviewed us on the stage. And he started, you know what these radio guys are like. He started by saying, so I'm with Frank Skinner and David Baddiel on stage. Can you just tell us, guys, where are we at the moment? And neither of us knew the name of the place we were at. We just got in a car and got out of a car. So we said, well, we're on stage. And he said, yeah, guys, what's this place? I didn't know it'd be a quiz. It's a quiz. It's become a quiz. So you shouldn't ask a man my age. He
seemed quite clueless, doesn't he?
Yeah, but don't ask a man my age where he is. That's cruel.
Although, Al, it's very glamorous 1970s tennis player. Not knowing what they always used to say that, didn't they? Because of course they didn't have the Google or the smartphones in those days.
Well, it was a club called 229. It turned out, which is the boss I used to get to Albury when I was a kid, but we won't go into that.
Okay.
And it was one of those. The band was in there, and there was food around, and there's like. There was no cutlery for the food, so I wanted a crisp sandwich, but there was no knives to spread the margarine. So I found a spoon, a big spoon, and I spread the butter on with the spoon, which made it more copious. And then I actually had 2 full-on crisp sandwiches before we went on stage.
Right before?
Pardon?
Right before going on?
Sorry,
right
Al.
before. I had to put them in a bowl as well because there was no plate.
Can I just interject, Al? It's not the timing that I object to here.
Oh.
I mean, it's quite... What, Al, it's quite a strange choice. Would you not? I mean, was anyone looking at you?
There wasn't
when you
an array. I don't want you to. There wasn't shepherd's pie. It was mainly drinks. Drinks like like drinks what men drink. Alcohol, and I couldn't have any of that. And so I had 2, Chris. I had one, and it was so, you have one and it's so good, and then you have another one, and it's still really good. Do you remember those gold bars, those chocolate things, gold bars?
Oh, yeah.
And you'd have one and think that was brilliant, and halfway through the next one you'd be sick. But it wasn't like that with the crisp sandwich. So we went on, and Jeff Hurst introduced us, Sir Jeff Hurst. And then he came. We were doing the song. The crowd were absolutely rocking. They had shirts on, flags and all that. And I looked in the wings, and there was Jeff Hurst, like sort of, slightly bopping. So I called him on stage, and he danced with us.
I saw a clip of this. He was a sort of Bez figure in your...
Yeah, he was, but it was that. Now, when I look back on the Euros, that, I think, is the moment. That and Harry Maguire's penalty going into the top corner with such force that it was like a cartoon penalty. But that dancing with Jeff Hurst on stage was pretty... And I got to totally grill a man from Camelot. More news later. It wasn't one of the nights. Don't get panicky.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so the gig that we did with the Lightning Seeds was sponsored by Camelot, and so I got to meet like one of the big Camelot boss guys. I got to ask him all my Camelot questions.
What did you say?
Why are there never any reruns of the lottery show?
Yeah,
you never see it on Dave. They've just got the old lottery shows.
Good
on
question.
There.
Yeah.
And
can you imagine how often he gets... Sorry to interrupt, but can you imagine how often... You know how breakfast TV presenters always go, oh, what time do you have to get up then? What time do you go to bed? Imagine how often he gets people making jokes about, what are next week's numbers? Can you...
I didn't do that, obviously.
I was worried you had.
I hadn't. I asked him. We talked about the whole... I'll tell you what I did. I forgot to mention the top hat stipulation that I came up with. In case you're a new reader, my theory is because like rich people, like, celebrity people, rich people, like Duncan Ballantyne, people like that, you recognise them, they've got money, whereas you can choose to go a bit anonymous if you're a lottery winner, which seems wrong to me. I think you should have to wear a top hat for the rest of your life in order to get the money, and then people know what they're dealing with.
You'd put that forward.
But I forgot to mention it to him. Otherwise, that could have been canon law by now.
Yeah.
But we talked about the rollover phenomenon, and I wanted to check that. The idea that if there's a rollover week, about 4 times more people buy lottery tickets. That's always been one of my great insights into human nature, that people think, I couldn't be bothered to get one to win 5 million. But if it's 17 million, I'll go down to the paper shop. And I was checking that. It's absolutely true. The numbers zoom up. So it was an interesting insight into the... And he had a hat with like balls going up in the air on little jets of thing, which I like it when people...
Really?
Yeah, it was like a little corporate there.
Great.
And his car outside had got the same thing on the top of on the roof thing. Yeah.
Real company man.
Yeah, I loved him for that. I'll tell you something I discovered, by the way, on the Neil Diamond front. Did you know that Neil Diamond wrote Red, Red Wine?
Oh, I knew it was a cover, but I did not.
I did not.
I did not know that.
See, when I first heard it, it was like a reggae number that people used to play at school.
UB40.
Well, things like, there used to be some skinhead girls in our class who played reggae stuff in break time. Girls that wore monkey boots. Do you remember monkey boots? And I thought it was from that, but Neil Diamond, respect. Red, red wine, I don't know if you've ever had red, red wine. It's much redder than red wine. Noticeably redder. And what would make me happy is, did we talk about most embarrassing... I can't remember if we talked about this or not. Most embarrassing rewrites of lyrics for adverts.
Oh, did we? Oh, yeah, well, yes. Because I think I pointed out to you my worst, which is everybody.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Chicken satay.
Oh, yes. And mine was those crackers that were crumb-believable. But I wondered, I would love it if Neil Diamond brought out Red, Red, It. For the
Reddit.
For Reddit, that wouldn't just to hear him doing that with like the proper voice and everything. Red, it. Ooh, helps me to express myself. Anyway, go on.
I'm just going to say, I'm quite surprised. I wouldn't have pictured the punks going into the off licence saying, "Do you have any Merlot, please? Red wine."
I can't really remember what punks drank. Probably some bodily fluid thing. Or big spitters.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Many of you have. We'll be talking about that in a second. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I went a bit towards the end. I went a bit Melvin Bragg.
Oh, we were discussing what should we do with the drunken sailor off air.
Yes.
During the break. And Frank and I both discovered we sing the lyric, Frank?
What should we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Yes.
Early, the use of early has always slightly irritated me. That we all just accept. We just adopt the pirate vernacular. We don't for any other parts of the song.
I don't know if they're pirates, are they? I think they're just seafarers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Fair enough.
I like early in the
Put
morning.
them on the wrong side of the law there, Emily.
I think early in the morning is what we should use as a sort of the bill matter for this show, the Frank Skinner show, open brackets, early in the morning.
But imagine if I just started incorporating early into my everyday lexicon. Okay, well, I'm going to get there early, so...
Yeah.
And people said, why are you using...
phoning up and say, sorry, I'm a bit early, but you're a bit what? I'm a bit early. Yeah.
Bring back early, I say.
I think, early in the morning, it's good.
Okay.
And up she rises. Can I just say out, while we're on it, that when I was at school, which is obviously before you guys... But we used to have, the teacher would put the radio on. There was a radio show that we used to listen to. So I don't know if there was any record. I don't know if recording was a possible thing when I was at school. And I think, didn't Hitler develop the tape recorder? Didn't he put a lot of money into? Anyway, don't want to hold that against the tape recorder. But there used to be a programme, and it used to be English folk songs, and we would all sing along to them, the kids. So we would all, oh, Brother James, have you heard the decree? Lily Bolero, Bullanala. It was all that stuff. And we sat in a West Midlands school and sang these old traditional. I'd forgotten about that completely. Oh. If there's anyone out there who's old enough to remember, did you sing English traditional folk songs at school? The radio as well was like this. It was like just a piece of wood with like a hole in the middle with like a speaker gauze, whatever the stuff that... What's the stuff that causes... I'm calling it a speaker gauze as if that's absolutely the term for it. The stuff on the front of a speaker that lets the sound out.
I call them the sort of the abdication radios.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those. Yeah. One of those. Or, I spoke this morning with the German Chancellor. And he recorded the whole thing with his crazy new tape recorder technology. But so I actually accidentally, I know lyrics to a lot of early English folk songs.
Early.
Sorry, early. Oh, man, have I let myself down.
You've let the pirate community down.
Yeah,
Sorry, they're not pirates.
They're seafarers. We've established that. There might be some pirates, ex-pirates, reformed. They just... You don't get pirates. They don't get up early in the morning. They like a lion. I'm imagining them with, the hook hanging out of bed and people getting up for a wee and getting the clothes caught on somebody's hook. And, nightmare.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I always think that we should reward the readers when they give us good information if it's interesting about stuff we've been talking about.
We always say radio, funny or interesting, not necessarily in that order. Well, most radio, neither. That's what I always say.
We were discussing the song Red, Red Wine a little while ago, and you brought up the fact that Neil Diamond wrote it.
Don't tell me that was wrong.
No, it's true, I believe. But 599 has texted, Tony Tribe released the ska version of Red, Red Wine in 1969.
Okay.
Is this some Mark Lamar radio
see, that's 69.
Yeah.
That's exactly my school.
Oh, dear.
Sitting, talking to, the girls in their monkey boots. Exactly 69. And they loved that sort of... I'm trying to think of some other ones that they played that were... Because a lot of it was quite rude. It was rude. So you can't do it on air. But... yeah.
And we've also heard from 047 who says, hey guys, I know that Neil Diamond wrote Red, Red Wine. He announced it as his reason for not singing Love on the Rocks. To say it was a huge disappointment is an understatement. Hearing ND sing Love on the Rocks live was on my bucket list. I don't bother with the rest. He ruined everything.
But I don't understand why he'd say, I can't sing Love on the Rocks tonight because I wrote Red, Red Wine. Oh, fair enough. What does that mean? That's like when I went to see live wrestling and they said Klondike Jake can't be here tonight because he's in Glasgow. That's not a reason, is it? Surely you could do Love on the Rocks and Red, Red Wine. Yeah. Was he worried that people might think he was suggesting it was okay to have ice cubes in your wine? I mean, he overthinks. I've always said he overthinks stuff, Neil.
Do you know it's my big issue with him? Big fan of his, but he's an overthinker.
He's an overthinker. I met him once, I met him in the makeup room at the Des O'Connor show.
Worked with them all.
Yeah.
1980s anecdote.
Yeah. No, it's 90s. It's 90s, I think.
I know, but it sounds very...
It's very friendly. Little did we know we'd be arch rivals in the future. Who could have possibly predicted that? In fact, I think Russell Grant was on the same show and not a peep from him about it. I mean, that you think would have been a glaring thing in his crystal ball.
What are we calling this sort of when songs I don't want to use the word sell out, but lend themselves to ads. We have some examples from our readers.
Okay. When money kills music, we'll call it.
Lovely, Frank.
So you were talking about when people allow their songs to be used for adverts and thus forever destroyed.
Yeah. Ultra Magnus, one of our regulars.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shut up with your Facebook. Joe Dolce.
Oh, shut up your Facebook. That's made up, isn't it? That didn't happen. The great thing about that is it would be Facebook who were disgraced and not the song.
Well, this is people's ideas for their fantasy.
Oh, they're making it up.
They're making it up. No, I don't think he's trying to fool us.
No, I was trying to think of actual examples. When you've heard a song and thought, oh, I wish they hadn't done that.
He's suggesting shut up your Facebook. That would have to be, as you say.
Can you imagine Mark Zuckerberg saying, look, I was in the car this morning and this song came on and I thought, this is it. This is exactly... I met Mark Zuckerberg, a bit 1920s theatrical promoter in a black and white film. But, it's an American accent. I only really do one, and that's a Wild West old-timer. But I can't have Mark Zuckerberg saying, see, you guys, you know what Facebook needs, Sheriff? It doesn't make any sense.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what I'm really not liking on the telly at the moment, by the way, is they've taken the Go Compare man. And they've made him they've tried to make him a sort of three-dimensional character. So you get, the bloke that plays him talking about his actual singing career. And there's even a split screen where he talks to the man in the big pointy moustache who sings Go Compare. And they talk about it, and they sing Go Compare with a different melody.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm glad you've brought this up.
They're trying to make it poignant. I mean, it's Go Compare. It's a bloke with the moustache going, Go Compare. That's what it is. I don't want to know his backstory. What's this method Go Compare acting?
I'm sure I once did a corporate event where that guy came up and asked if he could get up and sing.
Shut up.
And then did his Go Compare song.
Well, there you go. He gave them what they want. There's nothing. I know that's frowned on nowadays, but
he wasn't paid. He just did it.
Of course, he wasn't paid.
Wow, he wasn't paid. Perhaps he was just carrying out some sort of comparison with another.
I love that you met a Go Compare man the early years.
I've worked with him all, me.
I think we've all worked with him. I think we were at a Sony Award radio thing where he was presenting an award and Chris Evans got him to sing Go Compare. In a slightly school-bullying way.
Right.
But now, oh yes, I'm also a singer. You know what? You're in adverts. Are we going to have other adverts where people are saying, this is not all I do. I know that. But, the fourth wall, mate.
Yeah.
Shut up about who you actually are. You're the Go Compare bloke. Go Compare, that's you.
We're going to get adverts about the Meerkat's original career.
Yeah, we're going to get the Meerkat sitting around in like a green room.
In a smoking jacket.
Saying, when I was back on the tundra, I used to... Who cares about it? Not in a velvet jacket, in like a T-shirt and tracksuit bottom. It's a world of adverts. We accept that you're playing a role. Yeah. What you don't understand is we don't care what's behind it.
We don't need your textured, complicated backstory.
And talking to yourself as the Go Compare man. I mean, it's getting like Hitchcockian.
Just do the Mike Baldwin. Johnny Briggs played him in Coronation Street, and as he once advised my mother about acting, you turn up, you say your lines, you get paid, you go home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But in adverts, surely even more so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
May I share with you the thoughts of Ian Stewart Dootson, one of our regulars? Morning, Frank, Divine Miss Eminal. Is Early what you get if you mention Martin Bashir to Charles Spencer? Praise reluctantly redacted, including love the show and keep up the good work.
Oh, that's good, isn't
Come
it?
on, that's good.
That's excellent.
Don't give me that lie.
Yeah. Oh, you really get... Do people still do the glad eye? Used to say, I think that woman just gave me the glad eye. I think that's kind of God. It's the idea that there was some frisson between you. Oh, man. And there was the dead eye was if somebody gave you the real, the cold, glassy.
Oh, you don't want to get that off anyone.
No.
You don't want to get the dead eye from anyone. But the Earl eye, I could really.
The
get
Earl
that.
eye is. I'd very much like to get that from Phil Spencer. Oh, go come back. And then there was the time that when I first began singing. Yes, get out.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, may we return to some of our previous correspondence?
Oh yes, I always. I think when people write about previous shows, it always gives the whole thing a sort of organic unity.
I agree wholeheartedly. We've had some correspondence, haven't we, Al?
Yeah.
We've had Carl got in touch. Do you remember we were all discussing the younger/junior construct?
Oh yes, Sammy Davis Jr., Harry Connick Jr. was it? Yeah, we were talking about the rare occasions when the senior is like George Bush and all the various Harry connotation juniors around it.
As opposed to the third or the second.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is what we're saying because they don't have titles, bless them.
Well,
the
Loudon
Americans.
Wainwright III, who's a singer I've always liked, his son is Rufus Wainwright. He's completely eschewed the third, the junior. He'd be the fourth, presumably, and he didn't want any of it.
Would he though, if his name's Rufus rather than Loudon?
Oh, I see. Yes, that's a very good point.
The third. I mean, can you imagine if you were a descendant of one of those old families like the Duke of Norfolk? The third, ha ha. That's what they probably say to them.
But I like you get names like Molly Coddled, Mummies by the Third, and stuff like that.
So we have. Carl has been in touch. Further to the conflab in last week's show around the topic of junior or younger, I happened across a great example. The legend that is Sir Michael Caine was actually christened Maurice Joseph Micklewhite Jr.
Oh,
A
was
fine
he?
example, I'm sure you'll agree. So,
They don't put the junior on your birth certificate, do they? There's a question. 8, 12, 15. How do you like them apples?
Rich Morgan, footballer Emlyn Hughes, was married to Barbara and had a son and a daughter, both named after him, Emlyn Jr. and Emmeline.
Ah.
That's good, isn't it?
It used to be
I
a
like
thing.
that because it's
Emmeline
uncreative in that it's the same name, but it's also creative in that they've made up a same name version, Emma Lynn.
Yeah, and if he'd have married a Native American woman, he could have used his Crazy Horse nickname that he was known as. Endless possibilities for Emily. He always spoke highly of me. In fact, he always spoke highly.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, great player though. Great.
He was great. I
player.
believe he was on one of my favourite shows in the 70s and 80s, The Superstars.
Was he on that? I think of him on Question of Sport.
He was,
Oh,
but
he
I'm
was
sure
very
he
good
was
on
on it.
Question of
No, you
Sport.
know who I might be getting confused because my favourites on that were Brian Jacks.
Oh yes. Do you know Brian Jacks?
Thanks
for the tip.
And Lynn Davis, maybe. No,
Lynn Davis, the Welsh long jump. Lynn the Leap, as he was known.
Huge fan of Lynn's
Oh,
work.
man. I mean, Lynn the Leap. What a fantastic nickname that was. Happy.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So have we heard from the outside world?
Oh, in various times. 6 through 8 has sent a message that I think gives you the benefit of the doubt. Hi, Frank. I think you can be forgiven for not knowing Neil Diamond was Jewish, as he used to have a Christmas special every year.
Oh, well, but I think that's all right. No, I didn't know, but Dave's very up on those things.
And 677, we were talking about songs that get used in adverts in a kind of a ruining the brand way. Oh, hang on, my screen appeared that.
Oh,
What
having
happened?
some technical difficulties with our man.
Do you want to take
Julian?
over while
I will.
Al sorts that out? What about
here he
this?
is.
What
He's
about this? Like a tag team? Oh no, Al's
Oh,
back.
he's back. Oh, do you know that was so exciting? It was like election night.
Quite trepidatious at this end. Dear Frank and team, I recall that Sting was livid and initiated legal action against a deodorant ad that used "Don't Stand So Close to Me" back in the 80s.
Oh, was he live? I like Sting was livid.
That's
Sting
from Mark
is
in
absolutely
SE11.
livid.
He's probably waiting for someone to use oat cakes. He used that one. No one every day. Phones his agent. Look, Paul, is any offers on the oat cakes for advert? No, nothing from Kipling. Have you tried Kipling? No, you'd think that. I mean, that would have been slapped. I don't know who makes oat cakes, but there must be people who do it.
Oh yeah, there must.
Nothing from any caterers. I can't even believe it, man.
Ian Angle, a regular correspondent to the
yes.
show, has asked the question: when events organisers are choosing between Frank and Alan to host, do they go on comparethecompare.com? I suspect they probably do it on a fee band thing, and I'm not sure we overlap.
Don't you hate? Well, you know when they do those, there are things called public speakers websites
Yes.
which they put out, and these have nothing to do with anyone. And you suddenly find even minnows like me get mentioned on there, and they've got a rate for me which I know nothing about.
Really?
I don't know these people.
That's.
Well, you have it as well, Frank. We all have it.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has it.
I can hear people saying this to their friends to justify their Cameo profile. No, I didn't know anything about it. But there's a video of you doing that. No, I don't know where they've got that from.
Yeah.
Would you ever
Surely
go
the
on?
Go Compare man is on Cameo.
Oh, do you think he is? I'm
think
going to find out.
Probably like for celebratory things in his Go Compare evening suit and sticky thing, and then for things like maybe funerals, and he does it as himself and sings Ave Maria.
What would you do if you woke up tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Early in the morning.
Fingers crossed.
Early in the morning, and you saw I put myself on Cameo advertising my services.
I'd
Sing a version of, it said, Frank Skinner sidekick singing her version of Football's Coming Home. Would you call me and say, I don't think you should do this?
I don't think you should be using your dog in that sort of spit the dog way, making it, and they've put that actual spitting sound on him. I think you've gone to. Look, I don't know. We've all got to live. We don't all get free shepherd's pie.
It's true.
I don't knock anyone from making a living, but
Okay.
I do actually. I do sometimes, but mainly off air. I do it. I think that's my point.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. We love that. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. We love that. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Please, can I talk to you both about Richard Branson and Elon Musk?
Oh, yes. The picture.
That picture.
That dress.
It's very that dress.
Yeah.
I mean, we should say, for anyone who wasn't aware, Richard Branson had a huge week.
Oh, well, he's been into space.
He went to space. You sounded like one of his neighbours. He's been into space.
Or has he? We'll come to that.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. But he's been up on one of his little spaceships. I'm imagining it's a small, it's like a Fiat 125 with a bobble on the top, and you can just see him sitting in it, like when you get an alien in a cartoon. It's just Richard Branson in his jeans sitting there.
What, it was 53 miles, Frank, was it? Above Earth he went.
Quite high, to be fair.
What exactly? What do planes go? Maybe 7 if they're lucky. 5?
Is that right?
7.
I only really know it. They only ever say
knowledge.
it in. Is it me?
Well, I'm working. It's
Kilometres.
6,000 feet, isn't it? They always say they're cruising at an altitude.
Well, I went
It's about 5 to 7 feet.
when I
would
was
say.
on Concorde.
Oh, here we go. Michael Winter.
The sky looked a bit different. It looked a bit spacey. Oh, this was before Spacey was cancelled, obviously. But it looked a bit. It had sort of dark edges to the sky, and I wondered if that was because we were higher than your average aeroplane.
What? That would be a good slogan. Higher than your average plane.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear might
It's usually
sue, though.
it's feet.
Yeah.
Incredibly, it's feet, isn't it? They mention
Yeah.
35,000. That's how we're cruising at 35,000 feet. Who would have thought? At school, my kid, I heard this on homeschooling. They said if you're going to measure between Paris and Berlin, would you measure it in inches or kilometres or blah? And the idea is they use big units, whereas you get on a plane 35,000 feet, it's like footballers, how much a week rather than how much a year you always.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that.
Al approves of the big units, don't you?
I do.
Al is a big
Oh, there
unit.
you go.
Not unit.
Oh.
All right, Al, calm down.
I'm not actually either, but we'll go with it.
Okay.
Okay. So according to NASA, I think that is just about high enough. He's just made it over the line. Not according to
Is that
Jeff.
their term?
Yeah. Not according to Jeff Bezos,
Now, Jeff Bezos.
the Amazon creature.
No, yeah. So I just need to get all these people. Obviously, Richard Branson is Virgin stuff, and he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bezos. Is that
It like that.
Because it's a name I hear, but I don't really know what he does. He's Mr. Amazon, is he?
Oh.
I think the more surprising thing is that you're surprised that Frank says Jeff Bezos.
What does everyone else say?
I'm so unsurprised by that.
What does everyone
it's
else?
So predictable.
I mean, Jeff Bezos is getting involved in
What's
Star
he called?
Wars.
What's he called? Bezos. Let me tell you about. I had a pronunciation. I was picked up on a pronunciation this week by the popular comedian Michael McIntyre, and I think I won. But we'll come to that. There's your cliffhanger.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, meanwhile, over in space,
Yes, so there's a thing. There's a thing that's a bit further on than
Carmen
Richard Branson went. The Carmen line.
I say
Right.
it like I know. I've only heard of it this week.
Do you think Elon Musk would have been to the Carmen line?
Yeah.
I'd have thought that'd be the name of his little retreat in Suffolk.
He doesn't have a little anything.
Actually,
okay?
doesn't. Well, we don't know that.
Oh, Frank,
Didn't know you knew him so well.
we've got.
If I did know Elon Musk,
I don't think you'd be friends
this is
with
one
him.
for our older readers, but Deputy Dog used to be a very popular thing. And at the beginning, he was chasing a character called Muskie, and he'd say, "Just a dog, oh, minute there, Muskie." And I wouldn't be able to resist saying that to Elon Musk all the time.
Yeah.
I come over and I just came over. "Oh, Elon, just a dog, oh, minute there." Like Elton John told me that he went to Brian Wilson's house.
Oh, yeah.
And Brian Wilson said, "I've only got, I know you guys like tea, I've only got coffee. Hope you don't mind. Hope you don't mind. Hope you don't mind." And then he'd say, "Can we go into the lounge? Because I can't really use that room because hope you don't mind. Hope you don't." I just kept doing it.
That's
I
like.
love Brian Wilson.
That's
for
like
that.
when you had the.
That's funny.
Well, no, but Al, when Frank had dinner with Eric Clapton,
Oh, yes.
and he kept saying to oh,
Yeah, that was a bit awkward,
Humming
mate. I
later.
went to the toilet, and I dropped my guard in the toilet, and as you can imagine, as I walked back, I was just going, yeah, and he said, don't do that. Oh, anyway,
Okay.
nice bloke.
So we should explain why the Elon Musk and Richard Branson
And-
photo exists. Because
Oh, yeah.
before Branson was going to fly into space, he got a picture of himself taken with Elon Musk, who I believe is in Branson's kitchen at 3:30 in the morning with his shoes and socks off.
And
is any of that normal in your guys'
Are you
lives?
saying there's no heel on Elon?
I just find it a very weird thing that Branson's got a big flight the next day and he comes downstairs and Elon Musk's in his kitchen with his shoes on.
3 a.m.
Is
I
he
don't
still
want
up?
Elon Musk. I mean, does he do this regularly? I don't want to come down to my kitchen and find Musk padding around barefoot.
Look, if Kath, my partner, came downstairs at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was with someone barefoot in the kitchen, they just dropped in would not work as an excuse. That's all.
Unless it was Easter time, maybe.
Perhaps they were trading some grapes in Richard Branson's garage.
Well, there was a lot of shade thrown as well.
Of course, Elon doesn't leave much of a footprint.
Oh, very good. We need to talk about the kitchen cabinets.
Well, incredibly, a man flies into space, and the big story of the week is that is his kitchen cabinets and the shortfall of a billionaire's kitchen.
Yeah.
And we'll come to that after this.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I was telling you about, I referred to COVID. And Michael McIntyre said to me, do you say COVID? And I said, yeah, what do you say? He said, I think everyone else says COVID on the planet. I said,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he said, do you actually know what it means? I said, well, I know what it is. He said, no, but do you know where the word comes from? Which I didn't. Do you know this? Al will. He's a smart cookie on these matters.
I think I've been told, but
It comes from, it's an abbreviation of coronavirus disease.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
Right.
COVID.
Yes.
And I said, but you don't say coronavirus, you say coronavirus. And he said, oh my God. You're right, he said. And that was the end of that. So, be careful with your Jeff Bezos. He who laughs last, laughs
Good
longest, apparently.
Jeff Bezos. Okay. So we should say, let's cut back to Richard
photo.
Branson,
Okay.
Elon Musk, barefooted Musk, creeping around Branson's floor tiles, which were lino. This is the point. What happened, the reason Branson went viral, it turned out, was not because he flew into space on his little spaceship.
No, that's not enough these days.
It was because his kitchen was horrible. Okay?
I think the modern phrase is something like #housebarrassment.
House embarrassment. It was just, it wasn't what I expected. There used to be, there's still in fact a shop in Birmingham called World of Pine. And I am a big fan of the world of shops, the world of leather. But World
you're a
of
big fan
Pine.
of World of Leather.
World of Pine, great.
Oh, he loves that.
At great prices. But you wouldn't think that would bother, someone like Branson. He looks like he's gone to WOP and picked up his kitchen suite.
I mean, I haven't seen anything like that for some years. The last time I saw a kitchen like that, I think, was in the programme Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, which was in the 90s. It was one of the... And the floor, Frank, was primary school dining hall floor. It was that blue-brown lino. What's going on?
I love
I've
one
got
of my
a theory.
Go on.
Go on.
I think a lot of people are being very sniffy, particularly about the kitchen cupboards, but they don't realise that the doors actually open by sliding like the Virgin Train toilet doors. I think that's the thing.
Oh, that could be. Well, I've always said one of the sounds that reminds me of my childhood is dogs' toenails on linoleum. It's a lovely sound. And by the way, at 8, 12, 15, if you know any other world of shops, I'd like to. You cannot. We're not including Derek Acora's World of Spirits because that's not actually a shop. If you were a spiritualist, what would your consulting rooms be called?
Oh.
I'm thinking friends in high places. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I mean, I don't know if Derek had consulting. He's no longer with us, is he? He's gone
passed over to the other side.
Gone to the other side,
God bless him, but I should think at least he's amongst friends.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Did you notice there was a World's Best Billionaire mug on the on the kitchen side? I don't know if Jeff arrived with it. Not Jeff. Who was it? Elon. Elon arrived, or whether it's Richard's own thing.
I wish he'd had things like that.
I have noticed though, is if I'm not a social media person, but people on radio, what I love about radio is it's a non-visual medium, but everyone on radio wants it to be one. So they're always doing videos and photos to put on social radio. So whenever I'm on it, there's always comments from people saying, "Oh, what's that picture on your wall?" But that's all. People just study the background.
It's Doctor Who fans for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
where
that's
you get
it.
Toys.
That's it. Yeah, you've got the Master's TARDIS, etc. Whereas I'm going to go back to, I think, the smoky paper background that you used to get in high street photographers. You know that?
Oh,
Just then you
the school photo.
that will
I call it very graduation, clutching your degree as well.
that'll stomp them.
Who was the politician that it turned out had two kitchens? Was it?
It was Ed Miliband, wasn't it?
It was Ed Miliband, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe
Is there a
it was.
possibility that Richard Branson has a food prep kitchen and a photo opportunity kitchen, and Elon Musk just mixed them up by going in the wrong one?
I'll tell you what I'm
And
thinking.
that's actually the one where they make butties and shepherd's pies and stuff.
Well, of course, at the Palace of Versailles, if I remember rightly, Marie Antoinette.
You there?
No,
Well, no, but clearly I was, Al.
she had a dairy built.
Frank was outside.
And so Marie Antoinette was, when she got fed up of being a super rich queen, would go and play at being a dairy maid and put on a sort of a slightly fancier version. I believe the buckets that she used was Cape de Monte. But anyway, so she would pretend, she enjoyed pretending to be a milkmaid. So maybe Richard Branson likes pretending he lives in a 1980s Bovis home, and he's got one that he goes and hangs out in.
Well, I have the answer to this
Go
because Elon actually responded to one of the tweets.
Did he?
He did. He said...
Does he live in an elongated community?
Very good. He'd be a nice friend for you, Frank.
No,
Yeah.
I don't like men's feet. Really give me this. I don't know how women cope with men's feet.
We don't.
Good to have a rule.
Elon actually responded to someone saying, "You're a billionaire and you've got cupboards like that," throwing shade at Branson. Elon responded to one of these tweets and said it was Richard's rental house, which actually, let's do the accent. It was Richard's rental house, which overall is great. But I agree regarding the cabinets.
Oh, okay.
And then he said, "Ha ha, full stop." Then he said it was 3 a.m. the day of the flight. I wasn't expecting this brutal pic of me to be posted, but oh well. Oh well sounds like...
But you know
I don't
what?
like the sound of that.
I don't know about you, but if I was going to drop in at someone in three in the morning, I mean, even if they'd got like a meeting the next day or something, if they were flying to space, I might let them have a proper sleep. I mean, what a night to pick. Hi, I just thought it was 3 o'clock in the morning, Elon. Yeah, you're not, are you busy tomorrow? It's the weirdest thing to do. Maybe Richard couldn't sleep because he was pre-space.
Well, Elon is a creature of the night.
Is he
He's
really?
up all night.
he?
He's one of these, it's like the Back to the
Elon
Future.
Dusk, I call him.
Oh, come on.
For
Come on.
goodness sake.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Musk, Bezos and Branson.
I have to say Bezos, if you're going to call him that, he did a very good put
You're going
down.
to call him that.
He did a very good put down in the thing, because there's this thing, the Kármán line, which is a height that you get above the planet, and there's some dispute about when you're in space.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the Kármán line seems to be sort of
What
definite.
do we think it is, Al? About 50-something miles, the Kármán?
Something like that.
So 63.
The Kármán's something like 56.
Yeah,
and Richard Branson went 53. I mean, imagine getting that close and then finding out. But what Bezos said was, he said that he said, no, we're going up to the Kármán line when we do it. He said, I don't want any of my astronauts with an asterisk next to their name. So it says astronaut asterisk, and then you look it up and they've only gone as far as the other thing.
I mean, it's been a bit Tom Petty.
But it's great, though, isn't it? The asterisk thing. It's like me being described as a singer. Asterisk. Just not quite authentic.
Frank, he also twisted the knife further, Bezos. He likes to do that.
Oh, yeah.
By saying, and your kitchen's rubbish. No, he didn't.
No, he said something like it only has airplane-sized windows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that...
Oh, yeah, that was
It's
weird,
getting a
wasn't
bit
it?
childish now.
I quite like that. Imagine getting up there and you can hardly see out the window and you're in space. That'd be a letdown, wouldn't it? I'm imagining they're pine framed. What if the spaceship is like the kitchen and there's things like a mog tree and stuff like that?
World's best dad. Fridge magnet.
Branson, anyway, he went up, didn't he? Fair play to him. He went up and he did it. And he did that thing about going on about the view of Earth and how moved he was. Boys, everyone ever goes into space. I say everyone. I went to a talk by Helen Sharman, the British astronaut, and someone said, so when you see Earth from space, that must be a very spiritual moment. And she said, yes, people who have spiritual moments are not that helpful in space. All right, Helen. We get the message, Helen.
I like that.
Can I say, by the way, because we're near the end of the show, that a great radio event is about to occur, and that is Alan Cochrane's new Radio 4 show, Centrist Dad.
It's tomorrow, is it, Al?
It is tomorrow, yes.
Don't sound embarrassed about it.
It's on the Sounds app for like a month or something. So
Okay.
So it's Radio 4 tomorrow. Is it 7:15?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, come on, he's so sheepish about it, Al. Anyway, check it out, guys.
It is.
Check it out. It's on Radio 4.
You're
Alan
so
Cochrane.
sheepish, or as Paul Merson says, sheepless.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he likes it. He'll
Does
say what he's done. He's been taking that very sheeplessly. He's been very sheepless about that.
I think he was talking about Gabriel Oak in Far From the Madding Crowd, to be fair. Well, what about this? I'm on stage on Wednesday in Lincoln. I'm actually back. I'm resuming the tour that ended February 2020.
Guess who's back? Back again.
I'm wearing the same
Guess
shirt.
who's
It's all right. I had a sniff the other day. It's all right.
Can we buy tickets? Can I come? Can we still buy tickets?
Oh, I think
Is it sold out?
I think some tickets are available, yeah.
I might come.
Yeah, because I got I'm back, 4 gigs this week.
And so where are you on Wednesday?
I'm in Lincoln on Wednesday, and then 2 shows at the Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham, and then I shall be in Manchester on...
I might come and see you. Do I have to cross the Kármán line, though?
I think, well, you can hang up your washing on the Kármán line. Have you any... Everybody at home, have you any dirty... I said everybody, any dirty washing... Are you going to... OK, don't bother. Thank you so much for listening to us this morning. Very lovely of you. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.